you. I will talk here about the innovation culture and about the innovations from my stand, my experience that could be quite different from the different companies, but I try to concise this somehow in some phases and anti-patterns that I would like to present. So first of all, a few words about me. I'm mostly working as an agile coach and innovation coach and helping not just start my own companies, but also to help other companies to start their own businesses and in turn startups. So I will present mostly this experience and also what I discussed with other people. So first of all, I will somehow outline some of the typical phases that you could experience when you tackle or try to do something like agile transformation. So basically, it's, of course, I hope you think it's not about development and not about IT only, it's about the corporation or organizational change, so about mindset mostly, and therefore it's the same for innovation. Innovation is sort of like sub-part of this transition, of the cultural change. And the thing here is that, therefore, because it's an organizational change, it needs to be connected and supported and driven by the business as well. So just for the beginning. And as we say and discuss about the evolution of Agile, so Agile itself is still evolving. You could read some statements from the original manifesto signatures, so you could hear their perspective. They say also that this is evolving. So just to say, if we consider the manufacturing, it's here something like thousands of years. If you consider the software development, we are talking just like tens of the years, like 50, 60 years maybe, so to say. So still we are a lot evolving. So what I'm talking here about could be like standpoint for today, but tomorrow it could be totally different. Right now you could experience the talk about the soft skills. Who could remember that the soft skills and people was the topic in software development like 5 or 10 years ago? Is there anybody who experienced this one? Raise your hand if yes. Yeah, you see just 1 or 2 people. So the evolution is here, and internal startups and innovations is just incorporated part of this topic, and it would be evolving. That's just my guess. I think we are somewhere here like teenage years maybe. So still the maturity and adult ages are far away ahead of us. So the phase, it's just an empirical phase. Don't look like at the phases like they are going one each after. So this has to be like distinct phase. They are usually somehow in a parallel, they are interwoven and so on. So the first one, typical way, how we start with the agile transition or agile transformation is something I call internal cleaning. Typically the IT stuff, you start with the teams, and the key goal is to somehow improve how you deliver the results. Typically, it's about the speed, it's about the quality, it's about the outcome that you deliver, and also it's about the engineering practices, like subparts of XP, we could say. So, like even Scrum is the easiest way where to start. Teams usually start with this. Quite common, these are the internal efforts that we experience. And the goal usually here is to have internal visibility for the rest of the business. Like, you know, this black hole IT, we would like to see at least something about you. So this is how we usually start to show, look, we deliver a lot, or we do a lot of work. So this is usually the first phase. The second one, where actually some of the innovations can happen already, is something that I call dismantling the wall. You know, we Czechs and Germans, we have some history behind, so that's just a connection to it. So usually here we try to connect the IT with the business. These people try to talk together, and it starts typically with the discussions about the value, what the business need, are we fulfilling somehow the need, but still it's somehow like we, them word, and we try to connect them. But typically regular demos could happen here, and we start to measure the success from the business perspective, like the final delivery, not like show me your story points, you know, these things. So this is where already some of the incremental innovations, there are different types of innovations, so here the incremental innovation happens. That means you could improve your process, how you deliver the value, or it could be that you slightly improve the product by new feature because you realized, you started to talk to the business and you realized business users needs this one, okay? So these are incremental innovations. Then this one is already quite a huge step from the first and second phase, and I call it IT as a part of the business. How you can recognize this, I will skip right now. this slide is usually this one, that you do something that's called dual track agile, or it can be called like discovery process is part of the development. What's the value of this one? You don't overload your IT with tons of not wanted features. So actually, you verify what you deliver, and if you deliver, just this is the best picture maybe we could say. If you verify first what is the need and whether the need can be or can't be delivered, then only those verified things go to the development team. And you could be surprised, you could speed up your development by 300% very easily if you do this one. Not like that you listen, hey, this is a good idea, let's try to do this. Or somebody says, hey, this has to be implemented because I said, and then you should, later on you check the numbers, how was this used, and usually you realize that this was never used, this feature, most important feature in the world. So this is the phase number 3, where IT becomes part of the business. They sit together, talk together, they understand the business, IT understand the business understands some limitations, and typically the dual track agile or discovery process is incorporated in the daily thinking. And here actually happens those business innovations. And it could be standard incremental innovations that were appearing in the previous phase, but this could be also those how do you call it, disrupting innovations. Disrupting innovations could mean like creating new market. But here is also another area. If you have a standard business, in this business, you need to somehow make, it's called usually this, okay, I forgot the term, but that means that you create utility out of the something, and then you can use it and build on top of it. So you somehow improve and industrialize, this was the word, industrialize the stuff that you have. So this is also innovation but from different perspective. So, and the last phase where usually you like to go is where the business is driven by the technology. If this is also, of course, like part of this business, and the business is technological one, like finance sector is right now overcoming this hype. And here this is like about that the management works as one team and the whole company. We are talking about business agility here. Yesterday you could hear a talk about agile procurement Mirko had. So we did this one, for instance, with one big bank in Slovak market. And here, incremental innovations are part of the daily thinking, part of the daily business. So it's like how people think. It's not like we have a process for it that supports somehow creating and gathering the ideas, but it's like the way how you approach the stuff, how you think and come up with the idea. So this one is the goal, I would say. So who of you would like to say, yes, we are somehow in a phase 1? Please raise your hand. This was the internal IT. Okay. Who of you think that you started the communication, have the demo and involved the business, so phase 2? Okay, great. Phase 3, that was already like mutual communication and trust in between, and you sit together and listen to each other. Raise your hand. Very good, very good. And somebody here who could say, yes, I think our company is like a business agile company, and the innovations are part of the daily the way we think about our daily tasks. Nobody, really, don't be scared. I think there is. Okay, let's see. Good. So this is about the evolution, how the company, these are the phases that you cannot skip. You need to pass them. You can pass them together, in a parallel, but still, you as a company need to have these 3, I took this one from McKinsey, or we can talk about this, some of our list 3-party systems. So basically, you should have 3 horizons. That means current business. This is what currently is your cash cow. Then you need to think about the next generation products. These are the things that are verified, but not yet the core business, but it has a business model. It's been proven, and it's upcoming, and it will come up very soon. And this one is a really important part. It's called Horizon 3, Emerging Products. Here is the thing where the problems happen. Companies don't think about this part, and usually, why? Because they don't understand it. They ask about the business model, but the goal of this one is to find one, is to look for the business model. So I would like to show right now what are the general blockers, ideas, things that we need to consider when we go or try to implement something that's a corporate innovation culture, I would like to call. So the first thing, again, the same like with agile transition, it's the same that it takes time, and of course to create the skill would need an expert, would need a lot of experiments, it need to fit somehow into your culture, you need to think about your company. Is your company an innovative one, or are you rather, say, selling the products for the laggards? Are you more conservative company? You need to consider this one. The first one, think about the innovation blockers. This is most important things you should start to think when you start to create the environment for people to innovate. I have a picture later on there. Typically it's like that management will come and say, now let's be innovative, with no change. Yeah? So the things here is confirmation bias. Yes, we know how it should be. We know what other customers want. The next one, bureaucracy. Yes, you can be innovative. First, please fill in this form for me. It has only 15 pages. The next one, no time. Be innovative, but of course you need to do all the stuff that you need to do, the operational stuff, I mean. Uniformity. This is something that's, I would say, like in European Union, something like a rule, but it's a truth as well. Like if you have all men, all 40, all living in Prague, and they should come up with some social network for like young girls, I could say maybe, guess how the product would look like, yeah? So you need uniformity, definitely, and I would say, I would emphasize this no time, this is the biggest one, okay? And as you start with this effort, and usually it's connected with these two parts, these two horizons, if you start with those, typically what it starts to create is the internal change. You have in the company people that goes from this part where they have an experience with the different way of working, and they have an experience with the experiments, and they will start to question the status quo. Why do we have this such process? Why the rules are like this? Can we change it? And so on. So the process will start, and again, as I said, it takes time. Okay, good. So first question you need to start to think about, if you, first, maybe it's not maybe the first one, but one important one, is to think where this is a market, okay? You probably know Jeffrey Moore's Crossing the Chasm, so here are the innovators and early adopters. Those are the people that usually, when there is a new phone, they are the ones who buy this. Or if there is a new 3D TV, there is no movie for this, but it's new, they go and they buy it. But the early adopters, they need to have a need also behind it. So it's good that it's technology, it's new, but it needs to solve something for me. And these are quite important to bridge this chasm, this gap, to sell something to the market. Actually, this is the market, okay? These are the laggards. Okay, you have a car, but I still have my horse. Okay, if there is no equipment for the horses, okay, I will buy a car as well. This is how they think. So the key question is your company operating in this market, like more innovative company? Then you definitely need this H2 and Horizon 2, Horizon 3, thinking about new stuff. But if you are like more here, or even more here selling, so you could be maybe the one who's make the utility out of the stuff that somebody else came up. So like Apple could be somewhere here, or I mean the older Apple could be somewhere here. But other companies, they are just followers, so they can take the innovation and they can make it cheaper. They can make it available for bigger markets. So start to think first about who is your customer. Where are you operating more? Usually you could say, hey, look, but we are somewhere like here. Yeah, that's true. It could be even like this. But think about the different products, different segments. So that's the first thing. Because if you are a conservative company and you would like to be extra innovative star, you don't have the right people for this one. And actually the culture supports rather these laggards and late majority market habits, not like the innovative habits. So think first about this one. Then here is a bunch of ideas you could start to take and follow. I will just pick a few of those. So don't forget about the things that you already do. Like if you started some agile transformation, you do a lot that can support your innovative thinking. I would only emphasize a few of those. Like for instance, You have a demos. If you have a demos, invite other people, other stakeholders, invite end users and listen to them. This is already something that can be close to customer discovery because you more understand what they say and what they need. Okay, that's the first one. Second one, show the numbers. If you have end-to-end measures, how the product is used, for instance. I had an interesting discussion recently with one of the customers, and they say, hey, look, we have this really great product, and these are the most important features. And when I asked about the numbers, so these two most important features were never used. Then I asked, okay, who is this for? Who is using the product? And we started interesting discussion. And the product was like, after I think 3 or 4 months, totally different product. Much like a smaller one, not as broad as initially, but they started to sell it like a hell, you know. So just these few things could help. And you could invite startups just for the talk, to listen to them. For instance, if you are a fintech company, you can come, or I mean finance company, you can invite some fintech startup and listen what they do, how they do this. Try to inspire by the externals. And I wanted to emphasize this one for the roles. If you are a Scrum Master, start to think about yourself as it should be, as an organizational coach, not as a team coach, and start to think more about the organizational changes and do the improvements somewhere outside of your team. So, and for the product owner, start to think about small experiments. If you have some budget or you have some time, you could dedicate to experimenting with the ideas you have. Try to verify them first. Like, what would be the easiest thing? Like, can we build a button and the button could like attract people to have a new report? So just have a counter behind this and see how many people just clicked on the button. Okay, it's already experiment that takes costs some money because you need to do some development, but it's example of an experiment. So these are the things that you do generally to change a mindset somehow. But I have prepared also sort of anti-patterns and actions that you could do and take for each of the anti-patterns that I see as the most frequent ones. So here we dive deep in those things. So this is the slide I was talking about. So forget about this one. This is the typical approach in the big corporations. Okay, now you have to be innovative. Okay, that's it, and get back to your cubicle. Okay, and now you'll be innovative. That's the same like with software, right? Now write this great code, you know, but in 15 minutes you have a meeting. So this is the anti-pattern, typical anti-pattern that you shouldn't follow. So the first thing, start to think about your explicit no. Hey, I have this idea. No, we don't have time. Hey, we have this idea. They will never accept it. Okay, we had this idea. We don't have budget for it. Okay, start to think about this one because typically we would like to see the business case, but if you need to verify it first and find out whether there is a business case, whether there is any value, how can you come up with the business case? Although I like this explicit yes approach in Amazon, still they have something like contradiction to me. They have explicit yes. Yes, you have an idea, so you have like 10% of your time to work on it and create an experiment, gather the data. But at the same time, you need to write a 6 pages memo, future memo, or how they call it. So how you can write it if you don't know the impact yet? If it's new market, for instance, or new product, you know. So start to think about this one, how to build in or change the no to yes. So basically there could be the things like that you grant some specific time for the people that they could spend time in your team. If you are a team leader, just say, yes, look, if it will take you like 10% of your time, just focus on it, try to prepare, gather more data, create an experiment, and then with this experiment we will come up to our managers or product owners, things like this. The second one, this could be like for your personal time. The second one could be like company-wide actions like FedEx Days, hackathons. Many companies started to do this. Although if you do it like through a weekend, many people are motivated to join those weekend actions as well. So it works pretty well. Then if you would like to have the teams that would be dedicated to the innovations, there is a really big recommendation from my side. Please try to manage it somehow that this is fully dedicated team. Because I worked and currently I work also with partly dedicated team. And the problem is that usually the split, if they are partly dedicated, and it should be like 3 days innovations and 2 days their daily agenda, daily stuff. Usually it happens like this. 3 days is almost 5 days because they like it, they would like to focus on it. And these 2 days is usually like squeezed original 5 days. So it's not like 100% assignment, but usually something like 150, maybe even 200. And these people are really creative, important ones, and they can burn out really easily. So this is a really important recommendation. The next thing is try to somehow think about sort of innovation process, how to gather the ideas, how to visualize them, and mostly how to vote about them and show later on what's going on with them. We had in our previous company a really great process and even the tool for gathering it. But later on somebody have decided about the winner, nobody knew about it, nobody knew what's happening with this one. So this is a big anti-pattern. Try to make this visual. It could be just the board, and then you mark like, hey, I like this +1 or whatever. And those most voted could be the ideas for next workshop for the company hackathon. Make it simple, but try to visualize it. Okay, that's for explicit no approach. The next one, Hypo, confirmation bias. This is also quite strong, mostly for the management, product owners, business part of the people. Hypo means highest paid people opinion. So the one who is product owner or manager, they have the right. This is the feature we need. Competition have it as well. Do we know how they sell? Do we know what are their business numbers? No, we don't, but we need it because of the competition, you know? So we will do these requirements churn as well. They did, we will do as well. No value behind this. So the first thing or the symptoms that you usually hear is, I know what they need, I think it should be like this, these are the symptoms. And how to overcome them, how to avoid them. The easiest thing is to show current data, because it doesn't cost you so much. You have it already somehow, somewhere, you have the tools, you have the products, show it, show it, show it. If you have some feedback from the customers, if you do NPS, Net Promoter Score, if you gather the feedback even like once a year, share this data, dive into them, listen what's in this data. This is the most important thing maybe you can do. Then the next one is what was Roman today talking about in the keynote. Try to visualize and talk about the vision. What's the product or service vision? Quite often if I come and ask, usually I hear, you know, it's for this, and this segment. Okay, and what's the most important? All of them, you know, totally different segments. Like, even if you think about toilet paper, do we buy the same toilet paper, all of us, or somebody, you know, even like, if you say retired people, some could buy the quality one, some could buy the cheapest one, and so on. So there is different needs, different segments. Think about those segments and try to keep the product simple. The easiest way, usually what works the best, is if you cut off some of the things that are not really necessary here. So the product is then smaller, simpler, and you will sell more. I know it's not maybe so common sense, but really, if the product is smaller and focused, more focused, is usually creating higher value for the users. So start to say no as product owners. I know it's contradiction to this one, but this one means generic no to everything. This one means no to those features and proposals that don't fulfill the vision. It's a bit different no than the previous one, or totally different one, actually. And okay, and if you have some time, this granted 10%, for instance, you can start to use the time for the small experiment. So this is how to overcome the hypo. But first, show the data. Show the data. This is the best one. The next one, everybody needs to be innovative. This is my favorite one, because we see all the people as all the same cubicles, so to say, replaceable components, as HR sometimes say. So this is the most misunderstood part. Not everybody is innovative, or people are innovative in different ways. Like if you have a maintenance team, is maintenance team, or should maintenance team be the same innovative as an innovative team? Come on, no, they should be quite stable team that's delivering the stable product, right? But incremental innovations could be really good for them, or making the utilities out of the products they are creating. This is the way how they are innovative. So first, think really about your people. They are not the same. They are innovating in different ways, and some maybe even are not innovating at all, because they are great in stabilizing the stuff. You have the innovating something here, then you need to find out the business model for it is, and then you need to make this a commodity. And these are different types of the innovations. This is what the free horizons are talking about, and Simon Wardley in this free system, the pictures I showed previously. Okay, so try to explain that there are these different types of the businesses, different perspectives, and you need to focus on all of them. Don't be surprised that your company doesn't have one of these. You could have them like outsourced, or you could buy them. Like for instance, you buy a new startup. This is your H3. You don't need to have it internal. Okay, that's an important thing to say, to emphasize. So try to demonstrate what you are good at, your team. Like for instance, if you are a maintenance team and you have created several problem records and solved the problem records, this is your innovation. Again, try to show the numbers, the impact on business, and so on. And explain the different types of people typology stuff, whatever. We saw the soft skills here. The next one, external innovation agencies. This is also a bit tricky thing. If you involve external innovations, try to definitely pair the innovation with your internal people. Really important is if those people really pass or go through the whole process together with those people. Why? There are a few things. The first one, the business, or I mean usually management, why they hire the external innovation agencies? Because the innovation is quite safe here. You pay for the innovation, you don't pay for the time, so they need to deliver something. But the stuff happens usually the day they deliver something, nobody understands why this, by the way, and then they just throw it over the wall to the team, and somebody again internally in the company needs to take care about this stupid stuff now. And the funny part, that was creating the product was done by somebody else, okay? So there is again lack of motivation, lack of like ownership, physical ownership of the stuff, and so on. So the product, and by the way, those people don't know the methods and techniques because it was the external company that created this. So involve the people into the project as well, because it helps to change their mind. It helps to understand them, what are the needs, how those things need to be implemented and verified so that the product does what it needs to do, and then those people can start to share those things over the teams internally in the company. So this is quite important one, and start to question the status quo. I think this is the last one, or almost the last one, innovation without the business model. This is mostly for the tech companies. Hey, we have here this great technology, you should try it. Like, imagine or remember Google Glass, Twitter, Tesla. All these things are really great innovations, but they are not making sense from the economical point of view. So for instance, Tesla costs like, let me say 30,000, but to create a car, cost the components, work and so on, cost like 50,000, you know. So you are burning the investors' money still yet for this one. So it's an economic nonsense, although it's a great innovation because it has a significant effect on the whole market. You know, the old dinosaurs started to think about e-cars as well. So that's one of the things. Twitter, still, you know, great innovation, but still no working business model behind. Yet somehow it works right now, but still, you know, so-so. So always think about this triple. Customer needs is one thing. Then the product, verified customer needs, I would say, and understood. Then the product, the solution is the second one, but the whole innovation is complete trinity that the business case exists here as well. And it's been proven. The H3, Horizon 3 is looking for this one, and the Horizon 2 is proven, and when this becomes a product, it's Horizon 1, your business, common business. So think about looking for the money as well. And the last one, we-them culture. If you do those innovative part, quite often what happens, you have those separate teams. Those teams are somehow aside because other people, they would disturb them and so on. So what happens, although you are still following this and you are trying to, you know, make a really good communication around and share the buzz, really quite often it happens that people start to say from the innovative team, you know, these old folks from the old teams, you know, they have still these benefits. They have the better cubicles, they have, you know, more fancy walls and stuff like this, and actually it starts to create a gap between them. Really be aware about this one and try to fix this as quickly as possible, because we are one company always, you know, like if even you are creating new product. And actually the old people, they are the cash cow. they are getting you the money if you are the new one, and the new one, you are then the future, and you should be the one who questions the company and changes the rules and so on, the old one. So they need to work together, and what works really well is to think about the internal company as a second customer. You have the customer that has the need, but your company is your second customer as well. You need to treat the company the same way. Share, explain, do the marketing for them, write blogs, create videos, share, have open days so that they can come, have open demos for them, and so on. So this was, I think this is the last one, yes. So this was very quick walkthrough through the anti-patterns. If you'd like to read more, it's I wrote some years ago a book, ebook on this one, and you could read the ebook like with more detailed information about this. And I have it accessible on my blog, but right now I'm rebuilding this. So if this is not accessible here, this is the direct link, so you could download it here. It's like 50 pages, more in the details. So last thing to remember, it's a long-term thing. Start with small, start immediately. Don't wait for something, and start in the daily work as you do it right now. This is the key message. Thank you.
Thank you, Jaroslav. Here is yours.